sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
Kane rifles one back up the middle. Yelich, that's through, base hit. Kane's gonna turn and he's on his way. Saladino in the air. Soto makes a catch. Here comes Kane. Throw all the way in. Kane scores. Ball game over.
And Kane able to score the winning run. How about Kane and Yelich?
That was the scene last night. Back at it this afternoon. The Brewers with their 7th walk-off of the year. Only the Giants have more this season. And the Brewers trying to make it a clean sweep of the Washington Nationals. Today it's game 3 of this 3-game series. The Brewers and the Nats out of the NL East. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Sophia Minard in just a moment. Well, what was most interesting about yesterday's win was the fact the Brewers didn't really rely so much on the home run. This is a team that does count on the long ball often, but it was a little small ball yesterday, partner.
Yeah, nice come from behind the win. They were down 4-0. Credit the bullpen for keeping the Nationals off the board. But what the Brewers have been able to do so far in this series is manufacture runs. That's something Craig Counsell has been waiting for a long time. A couple of days ago was the bottom of the order getting it done. Yesterday, Kane and Yelich seemed to be on base just the entire day. Only one home run, the 2-run home run by Yelich in this series. So the Brewers doing what they have to do, especially when they go on this West Coast trip. You're going to see some really good pitching. Dodgers, San Francisco, you don't expect home runs. They have to be able to manufacture runs just like they've been doing so far in this series.
Here is the pitching matchup here this afternoon. Tanner Roark on the mound for the Washington Nationals. And fastball Freddie Peralta gets another start in the big leagues. He's off to a great start in his career. The rookie is 4-1 with an ERA of 2.65. We'll talk about Kane and Yelich, specifically Kane, when we come back. Sophia has more. Marching our way to first pitch this afternoon at Miller Park.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. Voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. The Brewers wrapping up their 6-game homestand, and there's no hotter hitter right now than Christian Yelich. His numbers since the All-Star break, his first appearance as an All-Star, a .550 average for him with 3 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, and 9 RBIs in that stretch. Good afternoon, everyone. Sophia Minert here at Miller Park. And the Brewers picked up their 7th walk-off win of the season last night, and a big reason why was the production from their 2 All-Star outfielders, Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich. For Christian Yelich, he's riding an 8-game hitting streak, and for Lorenzo Cain, it was a season-high 4 hits for him last night, including a game-tying single, and he would go on to score the game-winning run on Tyler Saladino's sac fly. So for Cain, that's his 13th career 4-hit game. And Tyler Saladino, who drove in that winning run, he knows the impact that both Cain and Yelich have had on this offense.
They're just, those guys, they're out there every day, and they're consistent at what they do. It's just a testament to how good of players they are. It's always fun watching them hit because you know what you're getting, and you just try to be the best you can behind them because their motivation, and definitely quiet leaders that you're always looking up to.
Cain and Yelich will continue to swing hot bats here in the series finale between the Brewers and the Nationals. The Crew going for their first sweep of the Nationals since 2011. We've got first pitch coming up next.
There he is, Freddie Peralta, as we get set for baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Beautiful day for the grand old game. 82 degrees, the roof is wide open. Great to have you with us here this afternoon. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minert. Today's game being produced by Dan Keener, directed by Phil Malika, and the rest of our terrific Fox Sports Wisconsin crew. Brewers trying to sweep the Washington Nationals with a victory today. Davey Martinez and the Nats come in at 49 and 51. The Potawatomi batting order for the Nationals: Adam Eaton, Anthony Rendon, Bryce Harper, Matt Adams, his first start, Juan Soto, then Daniel Murphy, and then it's Trey Turner, Matt Wieters, and Tanner Roark rounding out the starting 9. Harper back in there today, did not start yesterday. And that's the Nationals batting order that will face Freddie Peralta Rocky made start number 8. He has 4 wins already in his rookie campaign.
And the Brewers are 5-2 in his first 7 starts. Last appeared with the Brewers in July, on July 11th against the Marlins. No decision, only 3 2/3, 3 runs. He did make a tune-up start down in AAA last Wednesday. Went 2 innings to get ready for today's start.
The Brewers open play today, just a game and a half back of the Cubs in the National League Central. 3 back in the loss column. The wins are identical. And the Brewers are up a game and a half in the wild card race, leading the Atlanta Braves. So that sets the stage. Peralta ready to go. First pitch of the ball game is down and in, and away we go. 21-year-old Freddie Peralta back in the Brewers rotation. Brewers have news in their rotation. We'll hear from Sophia a little bit later. Brent Suter, of course, on the disabled list, out for the year. And Zach Davies' season is in a bit of question as well at this point. But the 5-man rotation is set, with Peralta becoming the 5th option. Brewers got tough news earlier on this homestand with Brent Suter after his last start on Sunday. Had to leave the game after the 3rd inning and will most likely require Tommy John surgery. It's been impressive, Rock, how the Brewers have withstood the injuries. A lot of teams, I think if the Brewers are down at the bottom of the standings, you would easily make that excuse that they've just had too many injuries to overcome, but they've been able to plug all those holes.
And again, I mean, you know, the depth down in the minor leagues has certainly been tested all season long.
Adam Eaton draws a leadoff walk. That's how the day begins for Freddie Peralta.
Well, let's check out the Brewers as they line up defensively here. Final game of a homestand for the Brewers. Yelich, Kane, and Thames in the outfield. Shaw, Saladino, Miller, Aguilar from 3rd to 1st, and Manny Pena back behind home plate. Same lineup once again for Craig Counsell as he had out there last night.
Brewers need a win today to have a winning homestand. Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. They've won the first 2 games in this series. And then they embark on an 8-game 2-city road trip. 4 in San Francisco, 4 in Los Angeles. That will be a test for Milwaukee. And then they come home to play the Colorado Rockies, a red-hot ball club right now that is also contending in the National League West and in the wild card picture. Colorado just 2 back of the 2nd wild card spot to start play today.
Hey, but getting back to the rotation, I mean, a lot of these guys coming up from the minor league, going up and down, filling in those spots, and the vacated rotation spots. You know, injuries have been a big part of that problem, but these guys coming up doing a heck of a job. I mean, you know, Freddie Peralta, you had Woodruff has made some pretty good starts. You only can plug holes so long. The Brewers need to start getting healthy.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. A check on the runner Eaton at first. A stolen base threat. Nationals do run a lot. Primarily 2 players that do most of the running. Only one of those players is in the lineup, Trey Turner, who has 22 steals on the year. Michael A. Taylor is the other stolen base threat. That ball's hit hard into left field. Back on it is Yelich. Right off the end of the bat, it sounded like. And Rendon flies out. Just missed it.
Yep. Well, let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win. We talked about the same lineup that the Brewers are throwing out there back-to-back days. That has not happened. Check this out. Since May 10th and 11th, the same guys out there, same batting order. It's been that long since Craig Counsell's done back-to-back games. And for Freddie Peralta, it's all about that combination fastball, curveball. Curveball, as of late, you know, as he has continued this year, has been a very good pitch for him.
Freddie made his big league debut in Colorado on May 13th. That was a memorable Mother's Day for Freddie Peralta. Struck out 13 batters, which is a franchise record for rookies. Facing Bryce Harper with 1 away. The home run derby champ was out of the starting lineup yesterday. Had an illness, stomach illness. He did pinch hit in the game and struck out. A former rookie of the year, a former MVP. Bryce Harper soon to be heading into free agency, and he will demand a hefty sum. Nationals fans are hoping that Washington can re-sign Bryce Harper. He'll have a number of offers out there from all the biggest markets that exist in the big leagues, and he'll have his pick of places to play. Still only 25 years of age. Was in the big leagues at age 19. Big swing and a miss.
There's that high fastball. It's been a good pitch for Freddie. Only 91 miles an hour with that last one. Rush it up there about 94, every now and again 95, but cruising speed, 92, 3 for the most part. If he's able to get through the first inning, he's normally pretty good. He has trouble in the first inning.
See the numbers for Harper. Batting average is down this year. Still a home run hitter. And a swing and a miss. He struck him out. That elusive fastball of Freddie Peralta. And it's out number 2, a strikeout of Harper.
Yeah, hitters will tell you that they have a difficult time picking it up out of his hand. And you're not talking about a blazer. Bryce Harper pretty much down the middle, 93 miles an hour. And so far so good for Peralta. Get out of the first, that's a big deal for him.
I saw that last image of the fastball of Peralta, and when you hear some of the analytics discussions on pitchers and you hear about spin rate and the way the ball travels through the air, the higher spin, the less gravity can take that baseball down in the zone. To a hitter's eye, you're expecting a pitch in a certain spot to end up in a certain spot, right? If you want to just make it simple, Freddie Peralta's fastball has that finishing kick. It doesn't drop to a spot that a hitter would normally think it would because of that spin. Gravity doesn't hit it as much. That's the scientific explanation, but hitters swing under his fastball often, just like Bryce Harper just did.
And not every pitcher has that finish. I mean, you can have a 93 mile an hour finish that's a more effective fastball than a guy that doesn't have the finish but is throwing 95, 96. But you're right. I mean, a little bit extra giddy up right as it gets to home plate.
And Matt Adams chases that one. No balls and 2 strikes. So then the next level of the Peralta success is you combine that kind of fastball with this big curveball that he's been throwing. That starts in that same plane, that same area, and all of a sudden you've got a pitcher really with 2 pitches that's tough to get a read on, tough to get a bat on. There goes Eaton, and Adams fouls it back out of play.
And still working on a changeup. I mean, he has a changeup, but he doesn't have much confidence in it. But there have been starts where that curveball has been a really good pitch. There's some other starts that it has not.
He's had some big strikeout games already. When he's got the curveball going, he will punch out a number of hitters. Had a 13 strikeout game in his debut, the 10 strikeout game against Kansas City, mostly fastball curveball. Here's the 0-2, and that hit him. Missed with the curveball that time, and he hits Matt Adams right on the foot. First and second with 2 outs.
And it's going to be important for Manny Pini to continue to call that curveball, even when he doesn't have it early in the game, right off the front toe of Matt Adams. Didn't look like he tried too hard to get out of the way, did he?
Took one for the team.
So I'll let that hit me. I don't have to deal with that fastball.
So 2 men are out. Nationals threatening here in the first. A walk and a hit batter. Here is Juan Soto. 2 young studs in the major leagues matching up here, Peralta and Soto. There's a good curveball.
Goes right back to it. Good idea from Manny Pini. He throws a bad curveball, go right back to it. Throws a much better one. Can't give up on those pitches.
Soto had a memorable confrontation with Jeremy Jeffress last night. He stares down those pitchers. Jeffress gave it right back. Jeffress ended up striking him out. There's a lot of histrionics though with the 19-year-old Soto.
And Jeremy pumping the chest, and Soto firing his bat down.
If looks could kill.
Yeah, right.
He's trying to look into your soul on the mound. He's entertaining to watch. What a player he is as well. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a snap throw to second. Eaton is back. Pitch missed inside. That's Dan Bellino calling the balls and strikes here this afternoon. He's got John Tumpane, Nick Lentz, and Mark Wegner on the bases. The crew chief is over at first in case we need a review today. I don't think we had one yesterday, did we? Now that I think about it.
I think you're right.
Did not have an official review yesterday. Imagine that. 2-1 pitch. Soto takes a ball.
And not by much, right? Good eye by Soto. See the way he moves toward the pitcher after he takes one and kind of looking right into his eyes.
Trying to get a pitcher out of his game a little bit. 3 balls, 1 strike. And it's ball 4, and the bases are loaded now. Soto draws the walk. 2 walks and a hit batter. And here comes Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, came into the game with 18 walks, did Freddie Peralta. 6 of those walks came in 1 start. That was the start against the Twins. 4 innings, 6 walks, 5 strikeouts in that game. Already a couple of walks and a hit batter in the first. First innings, a problem inning for Freddie Peralta.
Peralta with that tune-up start in Single A the day after the All-Star game last week. He pitched on Wednesday in Appleton for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. That was against Dayton. Went a couple of innings there. Struck out 5. Last start with the Brewers was in Miami back on the 11th of July. Here's Daniel Murphy, and he takes ball 1. On paper, it looks like a 2-week layoff for Freddie Peralta, but the Brewers have kept him active in the minor league channel to get him ready for this start. There's a strike. Murphy's been a hot hitter for Washington. Had knee surgery this past offseason. Hit a home run in game 1 of this series. Just 2 home runs on the year. And that's a little flare that's going to fall for a base hit. And the Nationals are going to get 2 in. Throw goes to third, hits the runner. Daniel Murphy drives in 2 with a single. And just like last night, Washington strikes first.
Yeah, Freddie Peralta 1 strike away from getting out of the inning unscathed. He hit Matt Adams and a walk and a base hit. Pretty good piece of hitting by Murphy, pulling the hands in on a fastball in on him. Dumps it out into center field, so a walk and a hit batter come around to score in the first inning.
Nationals have scored first in both of the games of this series. Brewers answered a 4-0 deficit yesterday. They were down 4-0 after 2 innings. And able to tie the game, force it to extra innings, able to win it with a walk-off sac fly by Saladino. Trey Turner, 8th place hitter in this lineup. I beg your pardon, 7th place hitter. And that's going to skip away from Pena, coming to the plate. Peralta's not there. Another run scores. 3-0. And an ugly start to this game for Freddie Peralta. Tell you, if he covers the plate, they have a chance at an out.
Yeah, he would have been able to beat him to the plate. Manny got rid of the baseball quickly. Not sure it was on the mark, but trying that curveball. Manny not able to slide over. Doesn't get away from him too far, but pretty good jump by Soto to be able to score. Not sure why Freddie took so long to get there.
There will be an error assessed on the play to get Murphy to second base. E2. Wild pitch and an error. 2-0 the count on Turner, and that one's in there for a strike. Tough to recover from deficits early in games. The Brewers have been able to do that the first 2 days. They're going to have to call on their offense once again. Those first inning troubles for Peralta continue.
Yeah, and the errors have been a problem for the Brewers lately. 3 unearned runs last night. An error contributed to a 3-run second for Washington.
That was a throwing error by Junior Guerra. So Guerra finished with 4 runs allowed, only 1 earned yesterday. 2-2 pitch. Turner pops it up. Playable for Aguilar in foul territory, and that will retire the side. Not a good start though. 2 walks, a hit batter, an error, and the Nationals lead 3-0. Baseball to be played though. Down 3-0 in the first. Now the Brewers coming up with Eric Thames back in the leadoff spot. The rest of the Potawatomi batting order with Thames, Kane, and Yelich. Aguilar, Shaw, and Saladino in the middle. Brad Miller, Manny Pena, Freddie Peralta round out the starting 9. Same position player group that we saw yesterday. And that's the lineup that will face right-hander Tanner Roark.
Yeah, talk about a rough season. Roark 3-12 on the year, 20th start, 21st appearance. He's lost 6 straight. He's only had 1 season below 500. He's been pretty good, but this year things have not gone very well.
It has been a suspect starting rotation for the Nationals. That was supposed to be their strength. Max Scherzer has held up his end well. He has been one of the game's dominant starting pitchers, was the all-star starter. Steven Strasburg has spent time on the disabled list for Washington. But the rest of the group have not been great. Jeremy Hellickson started last night. He's been one of their better pitchers. Brewers missed Strasburg and Scherzer in this 3-game series. 2-1 to Eric Thames. Just back from the disabled list. He returned yesterday. Thames was out with a hamstring strain.
Drove in a run on a ground out. One of the many ways the Brewers have scored runs without the home run in this series.
Yeah, that RBI for Thames yesterday was the first run of the game for the Brewers, and that ended up being a 3-run inning. With the Brewers down 4-0. Brewers scored 3 runs in the 6th and got right back into it, courtesy of Thames and a Christian Yelich 2-run homer. A strikeout to start it for Roark. But a fastball by him, and out number 1.
And one of the better defensive units in all of baseball. Matter of fact, they've committed the fewest of any team in Major League Baseball. Soto, Harper, and Eaton in the outfield. You got Rendon, Turner, Murphy, Adams from third to first. Matt Adams gets his first start in the series. It's been Ryan Zimmerman the first 2 games, and Matt Wieters behind home plate.
Here is Lorenzo Cain, fresh off a 4-hit game last night. Cain had been 3 for 14 on the homestand prior to last night. And on the first pitch, he grounds to second, bobbled, and recovered in time. Murphy to make the play for out number 2. Two quick outs for Roark with Christian Yelich coming up. Yelich has been blistering hot. 11 hits, last 20 at-bats, hitting for power. He's got a couple of home runs in that mix. 4 for 8 with a homer and 5 ribbies in this series. Had a put-away 3 RBI triple in game 1. And then the 2-run home run last night. This was in a 4-1 game. Yelich made it 4-3 quickly with his Powerball home run number 13.
And one of the best grooves that he's been in all season long. He's been pretty consistent, but right now, right-handers, left-handers, he's battling everybody up.
Pretty strong numbers last 14 games. 2 triples, 2 homers, driven in 17 in that 14-game stretch. Ground ball to second. Murphy takes the tough hop, and that will retire the side. Roark retires the Brewers in order. 3-0 Washington.
The series finale as we head to the second here at Miller Park. The Brewers already got bad news for their starting rotation, losing Brent Suter to the torn UCL. And today, manager Craig Counsell said that Zach Davies has suffered another setback dealing with the back injury. He threw a live BP here at Miller Park on Monday and initially got through that session pretty well. But when he came to the park yesterday, he reported more back stiffness, so he will not make a minor league rehab assignment tomorrow as scheduled. He will not join the team on the trip. He'll instead stay back for further testing on the back, and they'll have an MRI done for Davies. So unfortunately, another setback. Craig Counsell said this will obviously require more rest for Davies and will put his return in question.
And you know he's disappointed. Thanks for that, Sophia. That's a tough break for Davies, who just cannot get healthy, whether it be the shoulder or the back. And Davies is having one of those years to forget right now of injuries.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good list of Brewers starters that have had some issues this year. Hey, one thing the Brewers can say, and you hate to say this at this point, I'm going to knock on wood when I say that, but the core bullpen guys have been able to stay relatively healthy. I mean, just about every one of them. Corey Knebel missed a significant amount of time, but You know, the other guys, they've been very consistent, and let's face it, the way baseball is today, you'd much rather have a solid, consistent, healthy bullpen these days, right? If you had a choice. Starting rotation, no 5 and 2/3 these days, but you need that bullpen, and they've been able to stay healthy.
Now the bullpen has certainly covered a lot of holes that the Brewers have had, either with injuries or inconsistent play. But it all translates to winning ways here. They come into play with a record of 58 and 45, 13 over, right there in the division race. There's a swing and a miss. Wieters chased one, and Peralta strikes out his first batter faced of the second inning. Second strikeout.
Man, Wieters just looks uncomfortable at the plate right now. Manny able to get it. Was it a foul tip? It was. And Manny able to hold on, but you know, Wieters looks very uncomfortable at the plate.
Here's the pitcher, Tanner Roark, who can swing the bat a little bit. Roark does have 6 hits on the year. He's actually driven in 4 runs this season as well. Not your typical pitcher at the plate. Peralta could use a quick inning. Threw 29 pitches in the first inning. 3 runs scored, 2 on a base hit by Murphy, and then a wild pitch brought in the 3rd run. Lots of baseball being played today on a Wednesday afternoon. Ton of East Coast games. St. Louis and Cincinnati already in the 6th inning. Reds lead the Cardinals 3-2. There's a swing and a miss. Roark strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Peralta. Good curveball that time.
Yeah, put that one right where he wanted it to. Good pitch with 2 strikes off the plate. Quick turnaround for the Dodgers and Phillies.
Oh my goodness. They played 16 innings yesterday. And the Phillies won the game 7-4. Scored 3 runs in the 16th inning. Turned it right around and played a noon game this afternoon. 12:30 East Coast start, I think it was. They're already in the 6th inning. Phillies have the lead in that one 6-3.
They're young. They can handle it.
Phillies in a battle. Dodgers leading their division. Phillies lead the NL East by a game to start play today. And then the Braves, and then the Nationals are 7 back. Getting into that final push now. It's a ground ball to short. Saladino to first in time for the out, and that's the inning, and a good one for Freddie Peralta. 1-2-3 with a couple of Ks.
franchise mode in RBI Baseball 18, rated E for everyone. RBI Baseball puts you in control of all the action. Learn more at RBIGame.com.
Roof is open on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Summertime in Milwaukee. Great to be here. Great to have you with us. Jesus Aguilar will lead off for the Brew Crew. He's been a slumping hitter recently. Has just the one hit since the All-Star break. He's 1 for 12. That's a little cue shot out to Adams. Only man over there, and he'll make the play for out number 1. Aguilar now 1 for 13 on this homestand. Council did give him a couple of days off to rest his hamstrings and maybe a little bit of a reset after a wild week for him at the All-Star break.
Good news for the Brewers. They've won 3 games with Aguilar, either out of the lineup or being unproductive. I guess he deserves a little bit of time, in that regard. He's been carrying the Brewers pretty much the entire season.
Here's Travis Shaw.
Everybody goes into those swoons every now and again. We haven't seen too much of it from Aguilar this year.
Shaw is second on the club in home runs with 18. All 18 of those homers have come against right-handed pitchers this season. Gets the matchup with the right-hander on the mound today in Roark. Shaw had a bunt single yesterday. Nats put a shift on, and he dropped one down the third baseline for a hit.
Yeah, that was the lead-off an inning. It's a pretty good idea when you're the leadoff hitter. Led off the second inning with that bunt hit.
That's hit sharply, and the shift works against him that time. Out number 2. Roark has retired 5 in a row as we check in with Sophia.
Well, you guys were just talking about that bunt single yesterday, and the question came to Greg Council this morning why players don't do that more often. He said, well, with that question, you're assuming that the bunt is automatically successful. So he said oftentimes, like Travis Shaw did last night leading off an inning, usually that situation it's taken away from you. He said more so you'll see it with 2 outs, but he said you don't typically want to do it in that situation. So he said there's often more that goes into it in terms of the game situation and who's at the plate, etc. So it was an interesting topic of conversation of why players don't hit against the shift more often.
Well, and again, if you're Travis Shaw and you drop down a bunt and you bunt it right back to the pitcher, you're kicking yourself all the way back to the dugout. And there are times that it makes sense, and leading off an inning is a perfect time to try it, and it worked. But guys hate making outs when they try to do that. Bunt for a base hit, you pop it up, or you hit it right back to the pitcher. And you say to yourself, I'm never doing that again.
2 outs for Saladino.
And that's stuff that guys work on in batting practice.
There's a base hit. Over to cut it off is Soto. Saladino on his way to second. Soto bobbled it, and he's into second. Will probably be a single and an error, but the Brewers put a man in scoring position with 2 outs.
I think Saladino was chugging around first base thinking about 2 all the way. You never know how they're going to score it, but the bobble certainly did probably come into the decision making for Tyler. Just out of the reach of Rendon. He never slowed down around first base.
Yeah, maybe Saladino's aggressiveness forced the misplay in left field. Soto took a peek and realized he had to hurry it a little bit. Saladino ends up at second base. And the Brewers a chance to get on the board. 2 outs in the inning. Brad Miller at the plate.
Man, it is going to be a hit and an error. I mean, the throwing arms in the corners in the outfield not that great for Washington. You saw Rendon, or I should say Soto, make a throw at the end of the game that was not very good. Eaton doesn't have a very good throwing arm. Bryce Harper a little different.
Brad Miller gets a call at second base once again. Brewers have been scoring runs on this homestand and in this series without the benefit of the home run. Did get the home run by Christian Yelich, the 2-run blast last night, but it is a home run hitting team. And a big swing here could changed the game quickly for Milwaukee, down 3-0. The Brewers have had a revolving door in their middle infield spots this season. Council has settled on Saladino and Miller for these last 2 games. Jonathan Villar still on the disabled list. Got right left options at the second base position with Hernan Perez, and then when Villar comes back, he's a switch hitter. Ideally, Craig Counsell would like to get Orlando Arcia going again in AAA, and he's starting to hit a little bit now. He does give them a major presence defensively. You figure he'll be back in the mix at some point. That's an off-speed pitch. Roark pulled a string on Miller, and it's 3-2 now.
Yeah, they are saying that the at-bats for Arcia have been much better, and it continues to improve. The on-base percentage down in the minor leagues, very good. Seeing the baseball better. And you talk about the Colorado Springs effect. Most of the work that he's done has been on the road.
Yeah, and Craig Counsell talked about that today. He was asked about Arcia, and just the confidence part of it is one step. That's a huge step for a hitter. He is working on some mechanical adjustments at the AAA level. Just get him away from the big league spotlight. There's a swing at a miss. Roark with a curveball strikes out Miller, and the Brewers come up empty in the second. Still 3-0 Washington, 2 in the books.
Baseball, the trade deadline just a few days away. The Yankees already have the best bullpen in baseball with a 2.75 earned run average, and last night they acquired Baltimore closer Zach Britton for a trio of prospects. Right-hander Dylan Tate, Cody Carroll, both of whom are top 15 prospects for the Yankees, and the lefty Josh Rogers as well. So look there at the trade. Zach Britton has a 1.72 earned run average in his 258 games since 2014. He's coming back from an Achilles injury this year, so just 16 appearances for him this season with a 3.45 earned run average, but he's a huge addition to that Yankees bullpen as they're 5 games back of the Red Sox.
Yeah, 5 games back, but 64 wins on the year. They're 29 games over 500, the Yankees. And their bullpen is about as good as it gets. I think the Yankees bullpen, the Brewers bullpen in the respective leagues are the best, at least that I've seen. And the rest of the league says the rich get richer with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Peralta back to work facing Anthony Rendon. 3-0 Washington, all 3 runs coming in the first. Peralta bounced back with a 3-up, 3-down second inning. He's got Rendon, Harper, and Matt Adams coming up. And a string of lefties, 4 consecutive lefties in the lineup for Martinez today. And 5 lefties plus a switch hitter of the 9 that he sends up there.
Yeah, which makes that curveball even more important for him today. Yeah, that curveball to keep these lefties off the heater. Peralta's done pretty good against left-handers, though. 203 opponent batting average coming in. Although overall coming into play today, Peralta's opponent batting average at 144.
And when he gets in trouble, it's usually the walks. And he walked 2 and hit a batter in the first inning, and all 3 of those scored. I mean, that's a perfect example of Freddie Peralta's unique fastball. That is a middle fastball at 90 miles an hour. And a really good hitter, and Anthony Rendon, fouled it off to the right.
Yep, deception, delivery. We talked about that opponent batting average against lefties. Right-handers only 5 for 61 against Freddie.
Rendon sends that down the left field line. That is hooking foul. And a blowout of his batting glove.
How about 5 for 61 opponent bat? That's an 060 or an 082 batting average. I mean, that's incredible. We're talking about the big leagues here.
Yeah, hardly any hit. The most hits he's allowed in a single outing is 5. That was in a 5-inning game in Cincinnati, which is his worst start of the year when you put all things together. He gave up 5 hits and walked 3 in that game. That's his only loss.
And just about all that damage in the first inning.
Only gave up 1 hit in the first. That drove in 2 runs. Rendon had a blowout of the finger of his glove. Surprised he's sticking with that glove. I'm sure there is an ample supply down there in the Nationals clubhouse. Down he goes. Got him to chase a fastball. And a strikeout for Peralta, number 4.
Did you ever see Big League Locker?
I have.
Probably got 3 dozen batting gloves, maybe 8-9 pairs of shoes.
Sunglasses.
Fastball off the outside corner.
We're going to have to do some shopping in the clubhouse.
Be a nice garage sale, wouldn't it?
That's what Bob Uecker used to say. He'd go around and sell all of his teammates' equipment.
Now that's kind of the bummer of baseball, Back in the old days, minor leaguers had to buy their stuff. You get some batting gloves, but you had to buy cleats. You get to the big leagues, it's all free.
Should be reversed.
You think, right? I'm not sure that's the case anymore.
Nobody's buying anything anymore. As long as they tweet it.
I just blew a cleat. I think I'll go down to the sporting goods store and go buy a pair of cleats.
That's a swing by Harper, and it's 0-2 now.
That's what we did. Matter of fact, when I was in rookie ball, I wore a pair of cleats that did not have any back cleats on them.
Couldn't afford them.
Yeah, I didn't buy. I was making $195 every 2 weeks.
Here's the 0-2. And did he go? He did. Pena's got to throw to first to secure it. Does so. Harper strikes out for the second time.
Even in Butte, Montana, $195 doesn't go very far when you have to eat, not like me.
And the hair product with the mullet. I mean,
right.
That was half the income right there. Got to look good.
We had a basement apartment in Butte. The Mueller Apartments. We were in a basement. 4 of us were down there. $45 a month.
I love these stories.
And we were getting ripped off. No windows.
Could sleep all day. There's a swing and a miss by Matt Adams.
$195 every 2 weeks.
I mean, we've all seen Bull Durham. That was kind of your window, right? That was about what it was like, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just scraping by, trying to get to the big leagues. Adams keeps chasing that high fastball. Peralta hit him with a curveball on the foot on a 2-strike pitch last time. Let's see if Peralta changes up his thinking here. Saw Pena tap his glove on the ground and then immediately call for a high fastball. Trying to deke Adams. And he put it right down the middle, and Adams sends it way back to center field. And Kane is there to make the catch. Too high. Got away with one, though. 1, 2, 3 inning. 3-0 Nats. We head to the bottom of the third. That's where we sit here as we go to the bottom of the third inning. 3-0. Talking about the minor leagues, Tom Flanagan joins us now, the farm director for the Brewers, runs all of the Brewers minor league system. And we're going to talk about players. I have a lot of questions about specific players, but Rock just went on this long thing about his minor league days, and the resources weren't exactly there. So are minor league players buying their own equipment these days?
Some do, but very, very rarely. I think we take care of them with a lot of the gear and so forth, but the agents help out. They get on the guys pretty quick for bat deals and shoe deals.
Okay.
So
if you've got to buy your own equipment now in the minor leagues, you need to start playing better fast.
Yeah. Can I submit an invoice for all the cleats I bought down in the minors?
Send it in. We'll see what we can do.
You run it up the flagpole, will you?
Okay. All right. Well, here's another question then for those who don't know. What is minor league life like for players these days? And I'm not talking about on the field, but nutrition, athletic training, the strength and conditioning availability. What's it like for these players compared to the big leagues?
I think we try to implement as much as we can on the minor league level to prepare them for what they're going to face here in the big league. So starts with nutrition. That's advanced light years from just a few short years ago. There's a pregame meal, post-game meal, all put out by the club so that the guys not only are having access to better choices, just a better meal, fueling these guys up for the tasks they face on the field. So it starts with that. Strength and conditioning. Each team's equipped with an athletic trainer and a strength and conditioning coordinator on that club or coach, and they have tremendous resources. Our rovers go around as well to work with these guys to prepare them to be the best they can be on the field. Sports psych, got a number of people in that area.
Oh, sports psychology, all right.
Correct. Yeah. So it just helps their performance from all different angles, helps them to be able to take advantage of their abilities on the field.
You hear these stories about the minor leagues, Rock, and a lot of those, the way you came up playing, right. I mean, those are real stories, but it has changed so much now, and these players, you get into the system just to increase the performance, which is a good sign. All right, Tom, so give us an idea on what's happening. We've been reading the name of Corey Ray often here in the last few weeks. He is having an amazing season. He's got 20 homers. He has 30 stolen bases at AA Biloxi. What has changed with Corey Ray, a former first rounder?
I think a lot of it's on Corey. I think he's taken a different approach this year, has found a routine that really works for him in terms of his pregame routine. Al LaBeouf, the hitting coach there at Biloxi, has worked hand in glove with Corey on that routine, and I think it's really working out for him as the numbers indicated. He picked up 2 more stolen bases last night, so he's the only player right now in minor league baseball that's 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases. So, and we're not even in August yet, so he's really found it, and we're really happy for the work he's put in.
Well, the fact that he's healthy has a lot to do with that, right? The knee is
Sure.
in good shape, and everything's going well for him.
Correct, and he, he showed shades of this in the past with his work ethic and the way he attacked the rehab of the knee. Spent all off season in Phoenix, his first year in pro ball. Our medical staff did a great job with him, but they remarked how serious he took everything and how diligent he was on that program. So it bodes well for him moving ahead.
Now you guys just got done. They completed the signing process of all the guys that got drafted, in June. How's that process in trying to place each and every one of those guys, and how much does that disrupt the whole minor league system? I mean, guys, going into one level, guys going up, and certainly that's got to be a tough job for you.
Sure, most of it, it's our scouts do a tremendous job of furnishing us with the input to help us, because they know the guys inside and out, so they help us place those players, kind of give us an idea of where they can be best challenged and start their careers. So it's fairly smooth process. Obviously, guys are signing at different rates and different times, so you could have a kind of slow trickle of players entering the system. But between Helena, the rookie ball club there in the Pioneer League, and Arizona Summer League, the bulk of those players are going to be in those 2 levels. So they're short season clubs. They start in mid-June, so it gives us a little bit of lead time where we can have our large group of players that are in extended spring training prep to go to one club or the other, and then we kind of fill in the blanks with the drafted players.
How is
everybody settled in?
Yeah, how's the extended spring training going? I mean, with the Maryville renovation, I mean, you guys being able to work through all that?
Absolutely. It's really not, largely it's been unaffected by the work going on. In fact, in talking to our staff, I was down there about 10 days ago. It's kind of a motivator for the players and the staff. They see it right behind the fence, pieces going up and so forth. So it's definitely a positive.
Well, Tom, always great to catch up on the minor league system. The system is loaded. You're doing a great job, and we're probably going to be hearing about a lot of these names as we approach the trade deadline. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, BA.
That's Tom Flanagan, the Brewers farm director, and a loaded up minor league system that is certainly contributing here in the big leagues.
With a 3-0 lead, and on Saturday, August 24th, you can support several local causes by joining Brewers Community Foundation for Hitting for the Cycle, a special bike ride along Lake Michigan. Each participant will receive a ticket for the Crew's matchup with the Pirates that evening, plus a t-shirt and access to an exclusive pregame tailgate. And the proceeds will benefit BCF, Urban Ecology Center, and Dream Bikes. So you can learn more at brewers.com/bike ride.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Here we go to the 4th inning now, 3-0 Washington. Freddie Peralta, a prize prospect out of the Brewers system, has been able to settle it down after a 3-run first inning. Had command issues in the first. 2 walks and a hit batter. Gave up the 3 runs on 1 hit. And a ground ball off the end of the bat right to Brad Miller, and Soto is retired. Out number 1 of the 4th. We go back to Sophia. She's got an update on Orlando Arcia. What's been the process for Arcia, Sophia?
Well, it was a very good report from Craig Counsell this morning. It's been since July 4th that Arcia went back down to AAA, and the numbers have been really good for him, especially lately. He's hit safely in 7 consecutive games. Overall in 17 games, it's a .364 average for him. He's getting extra base hits, 4 doubles, 3 triples, 2 homers, and more importantly, probably 10 walks in there as well with a .993 OPS. So Counsell said it's result driven. Obviously, they need to see some confidence from Orlando Arcia at the plate and to see him have success. So he said he's certainly keeping up his end in terms of getting the work in. The results are starting to come there in just under 100 plate appearances for him with the Sky Sox. So in terms of when he might return to the team, Counsell said that decision hasn't been made yet. It will be need-based, but he said Orlando is certainly making a strong case for his return.
Yeah, good stuff there, Sophia. Good reporting on that. And Craig Counsell was equally praising Arcia's development or his mechanical fixes down there. At the same time, he was praising Tyler Saladino and how effective he's been in the major leagues. Saladino has had some struggles defensively, but Saladino's really hit as the only hit of this game and had the walk-off last night, the sacrifice fly. So that's a tricky spot for a manager to be in when you're trying to get production out of one player and yet another player is performing well in the minor leagues. Murphy just lays the bat on it. Little lazy pop-up in the grass to Miller for out number 2.
Yeah, nobody said that Tyler Saladino was going to be an Arcia out there at shortstop. You're going to give up a little bit defensively, but Saladino has done a very good job at the plate. Yeah, big sacrifice fly last night. He's been swinging the bat extremely well in this homestand. And it sounds to me like the Brewers are kind of giving the indication of Orlando Arcia, you got to earn your way back. It's not yours just because you started the season. So I think that's not a bad thing for a young player.
Trey Turner on the first pitch, a pop-up. And Kane's going to make the call, and he's got it. Wow, almost misplayed it. But he's all smiles. Kane puts it away, and that's a quick inning for Freddie Peralta, who has retired 10 in a row now. Still 3-0. The new home of the Milwaukee Bucks opens up next season. Now is the time to lock in your seats. You can get season ticket packages right now on foxsportswisconsin.com/events for this upcoming season. Giannis and the Bucks in their new home. Beautiful Miller Park on a Wednesday afternoon. Brewers are down 3-0. Freddie Peralta has settled in now, and let's see if the Brewers offense can pick him up after a 3-run first. 3-0 Washington. Roark is pitching well as well. He's got the middle of the order coming up. Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, and Jesus Aguilar.
Yeah, Tanner Roark has had good numbers against the Brewers. This is his 6th start against Milwaukee. 3-1, 272 earned run average.
Cain takes a strike. Roark has had pinpoint command today. 5 strikeouts. He's thrown a fastball, a curveball, a changeup. He's had them all going. One ball, 2 strikes. And Cain pops it up, shallow right, long run. Eaton is there for the first out.
And because of that, the fact that he's able to mix it up with all 4 pitches, he's been able to get in on the hands of these Brewer hitters with that fastball inside corner. Roark tops out at about 93, not very fast. You looked at the statistics amongst pitchers in the National League. Roark is in the top 10 in all the categories you don't want to be in. Hits allowed, earned runs allowed, hit batters. I mean, he leads the league in losses with 12. But he's throwing the baseball pretty well today.
He's retired 10 of 11 to start his day. One note about Roark, he has 11 quality starts this year, meaning he's pitching at least 6 innings or more, giving up 3 runs or fewer. 11 times he's done that this year. That is 8th best in the National League, which doesn't connect to the rest of the numbers for him. He's been a big winner in his career for Washington. I remember when Mike Maddox was the pitching coach for the Nationals, always raved about Tanner Roark, said he was one of his favorite pitchers to work with. He's been a 15-game winner in the big leagues, a 16-game winner 2 years ago. Logged a lot of innings as well those years.
Hey, look at his numbers. He had a start against the Red Sox, gave up 9 runs in 7 innings. 9 earnings. 2 starts before that, 6 runs in 4 1/3. That will kill an earned run average.
Took a loss against the Mets his last time out. Yelich with a base hit. Second hit of the game, and Yelich stays hot. Christian Yelich getting on base. It's such a high clip right now. That extends a hitting streak to 9 in a row. 14 of his last 15 games he has hits.
Yeah, just staying on the baseball. He lets it travel. Nice easy swing back through the middle. Most of his hits have come center field around to the left field line. And just Mr. Consistency right now. And he says the key to it all, seeing the baseball out of the pitcher's hand. And staying back, recognizing ball and strike. Sounds easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, sounds simple. Not so much.
No.
Here's Aguilar now. Brewers need a big hit. They'd love to see Aguilar get loose. The Nationals have pitched Aguilar well. They have pounded him inside. Powerball home run leaderboard still has Jesus at the top. There's 25 home runs on the season. There are 3 players in the National League that have hit 25 homers. Aguilar, Arenado, and Carpenter all sit in a tie at the top. And he just missed that one. Fly ball into center. It's kind of been the way it's gone for Aguilar. Just narrow misses.
And that was a mistake right there. And he left that one out over the plate. Roark was trying to come inside on him. Most of the pitches in on Aguilar in this series have been in off the plate. Check this one out. That's a pitch that normally when he's going well, he's going to hit it in the seat somewhere. Popped it straight up.
So 2 men are out. Yelich the runner at first, and here comes Travis Shaw. Yelich, a stolen base threat. He has 13 on the year. Only been caught twice.
Probably not a running situation here.
Shaw is a power hitter. Last homered on July 15th against the Pirates. That was in Pittsburgh right before the All-Star break. Has 18 on the season. Hits that one sharply. Oh, it eats up Turner. Into left center it goes. And Yelich on his way to third.
And played it off to the side and off the glove and into the outfield.
Wow, that ball left the bat 108 miles an hour exit velocity.
And just ate him up. A bullet by Travis Shaw. Right at Turner, but not able to handle it.
Well, it keeps the inning alive. Now the Brewers bring the tying run to the plate. It's one of the hardest hit balls Travis Shaw has had all year. That's going to go as a single. Too hot to handle. 2 hits in the inning. First and third for Saladino. Tyler into the game last night with that sacrifice fly. His first walk-off in 2 years. Last time he had a walk-off was as a member of the White Sox. Had a walk-off against the Chicago Cubs in 2016. That had to feel good for him.
And just put it in play with 2 strikes. I mean, that's all you have to do with the speed that the Brewers had at third base with Kane. It's in on his hands, not very deep, but Lorenzo able to score easily. Brewers with yet another walk-off win.
Kane got the brunt of the Gatorade bat last night. Saladino was dry. Brewers able to manufacture that winning run last night and coming back from 4-0 down. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a swing and a miss. Slider by Roark that time, and it's 1-2 now.
You can see it out of his hand and outside corner. Pulled off of it.
He's got all 4 going today. Brewers have 3 hits off of him, 3 singles. Their best chance to score right here. 2 outs, first and third. And the 1-2 is a called strike 3 to end the inning. Got him with a fastball. And the Brewers strand a pair, and Roark keeps the shutout alive through 4 innings. 3-0 Washington. Roark racking up 6 strikeouts thus far in 4 innings.
Up 3-0, and it's another 5 County Friday as the Brewers host the Rockies in the first of a 3-game series on Friday, August 3rd. All 5 County residents can save 50% on tickets for that game, and to book yours, go to brewers.com/5county.
Still 3-0. We go to the 5th inning now. Freddie Peralta facing Matt Wieters to start the inning. Peralta's retired 10 in a row. After a rough first inning, he has settled in. The Brewers let an opportunity go by last inning, stranding 2. Wieters turns on one. That's trouble down into the corner, and it is a foul ball. Close call for Peralta. Did you see this in between innings, Rock? The red-hot Christian Yelich going onto the field. Bryce Harper says, all right, give me a little bit of that. Give me some of that mojo.
Yeah.
The struggling Bryce Harper.
Red hot, just touch me.
Yelich canceled it out, though, so it won't apply until the next series.
You could do that, huh?
Yeah, you do that.
Cancel it out?
Yeah, it's you got to be exact in your phrasing, but yeah, you can cancel that out.
How many times have hitters done that to Bryce Harper?
Yeah. Yeah, not just for a hot streak, but a career streak.
Right.
3 balls and a strike to count on Wieters. Shift is on for the switch hitter, and that one's in there for a strike. See, Shaw moves over in the second base position. They do that with 2 strikes. Until 2 strikes, Shaw and Saladino are flip-flopped. Wieters hits that one hard but foul. I get asked a lot why they do that with 2 strikes. The reason being, before there are 2 strikes, there's still that threat of the bunt. So Shaw would be over on the left side of the infield, and he's closer to the grass.
You get your guy in short right field with the best range is going to be out there, which in this case is Brad Miller.
And Peralta loses him, a walk. So that breaks the streak of 10 in a row. Shaw will go back to his regular position now, and I'm sure he'll be in bunt defense with the pitcher Roark coming up and a man at first. The Brewers are one of the shiftiest teams in the big leagues, but there is reason behind every move. Roark takes a strike.
Yeah, Brewers in a bunt defense now to try and turn a double play. Yeah, charging at the corners, trying to get to that baseball as quickly as possible. Roark below average speed. Idea for Roark is to bunt it toward first base. Aguilar has to hold the runner.
Oh, and 2 the count. Roark not bunting that time. The old butcher boy play. When you show a bunt, pull the bat back, swing the bat, trying to punch one over an infielder's head. Now it's 0-2. Showing bunt early again. Shaw creeps in. That's a called strike 3. And punch out number 6 for Peralta. 1 away. Back to the top of the order, Adam Eaton for Washington. Walked and scored in the first. The 3 runs that scored in the first were 2 walks and a hit batter. Daniel Murphy with a 2 RBI single, and then the 3rd run came in on a wild pitch.
Kind of makes you work to get him out. He doesn't get himself out too often. Pretty good 2-strike hitter. He's trying to put it in play, just flips it into left field every now and again. We've seen that in this series. A healthy Adam Eaton will certainly help this offense.
3-0 now. Eaton not biting. Looked like a changeup there, huh?
Yeah, he's been trying to mix that in every now and again. Pretty good spot for it, 2-0. Didn't fool Eaton.
Well, see if he has a green light. 3-0. Does not. Takes a strike.
That little cut on that fastball, only 89 miles an hour.
They lost him. Second walk of the inning.
They have 4 now for Freddie Peralta. 4 walks, had 2 in the first.
It's going to bring up Anthony Rendon. 2 men are out now with 1 away. Mound visit for Pena. Second one of the game for the Brewers, and Peralta is going to have to deal with the heavy hitters now. Rendon steps in 0 for 2. He's had a couple of narrow misses at home runs, though. Flew out to deep left in the first inning. Pulled one foul in the third inning. Ended up striking out in that third. Freddie has 6 Ks, 4 walks, and a hit batter. He's given up 1 hit. Rendon into left field, a jam shot, long run for Yelich. He is there to make the play in foul territory. Kept it off the barrel again, did Rendon. He's been close to a few home runs in this game.
Yeah, it's that curveball that he leaves up in the zone right down the middle, and Rendon just gets it on the label a little bit. Very fortunate was Peralta on that pitch. First pitch curveball, not a bad idea. It looked like Rendon sitting on it.
Well, here comes Harper now. He is a slumping hitter, but he is a major weapon. This game could turn right here. 3-0. Harper up with 2 outs. Peralta has struck him out twice. And a curveball is launched. That is back and gone. And just what you were hoping to avoid. Bryce Harper on the first pitch. 3-run home run makes it 6-0.
Back-to-back curveballs. He threw one to Rendon and got it out. And Bryce Harper teed off on that one. And not a bad idea, that first pitch curveball, but you don't want to leave it there. Harper able to get good wood on it right down the middle, and that was out as soon as he hit it.
Well, kind of mistakes that you can't make in a game like this. And now it's 6-0, and that completely turns this one around.
Right pitch, wrong location. Didn't execute it.
And 2 more walks come in to score. All 4 of the walks today by Peralta have scored. Well, maybe Bryce Harper rubbing off some of that mojo on Christian Yelich. It worked.
Maybe canceling it out didn't work. 6 runs on 2 hits for Washington. Yeah. 4 walks.
Adams takes a strike. 2-1 now. And a pop-up. Shaw's back in the grass. He'll give way to Yelich, and that will retire the side. But Bryce Harper delivers a big blow in this one. It's now 6-0 after a 3-run home run by Harper. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. Some of the images from yesterday. Great to see Prince Fielder, Jeff Jenkins, Doug Melvin all back at Miller Park. And of course the late Harry Dalton was honored as well. Brad Miller leads off, first ball swinging. There is out number one. 6-0 now. Bryce Harper just hit a 3-run homer. And the Brewers are in big trouble today. Going to have to get their bats going, but Roark has been a tough customer on the mound so far.
And he's been dialed in on that strike zone. All 4 of his pitches have been pretty effective. Brewers came back from a 4-0 deficit last night. Got a little bit more work to do today.
Manny Pena now with 1 away. Yeah, yesterday was a terrific day. Not only did the Brewers have a comeback win, had a walk-off win, but all the festivities that surrounded the day and the ability to stop down for a minute. You get locked into a pennant race in the day-to-day, but to do a little reminiscing and think back to some of the people who helped build the culture of the Milwaukee Brewers. And Prince Fielder, Harry Dalton, and Doug Melvin all went into the Wall of Honor, which is on the north side of the ballpark outside near the Fridays. They'll have their plaques there. And then a significant honor for Jeff Jenkins, so he goes into the Walk of Fame. Other than retiring a number, that is the second best honor you can receive here. Pena grounds to the mound. And Rock, you did a great job with all the festivities, emceeing the event. I thought you got the 3rd loudest ovation of the group.
That's not bad. I'll take that. I'll take that.
That was impressive.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun down there, you know, and I said this yesterday, and it's something that you forget about. It's been a long time since I've been on the field that close to game time. And with the fans in there and the guys at the hustle and bustle, there's a different kind of buzz down there than you have during batting practice, you know. I had a lot of fun, you know, seeing Prince and Jeff Jenkins. Always great to see Doug Melvin. Saw Pat Dalton, you know, Harry's wife, and got to know, you know, Harry and his wife pretty well. He was my first general manager. Just good time yesterday. It was a good day at the ballpark.
It's going to be a 3-up 3-down inning for Tanner Roark. He's making it look easy today. Brewers down 6-0. We've got 5 in the books at Miller Park on a Wednesday afternoon. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Another big crowd at Miller Park. Not a lot to cheer about today. Still having fun though. Always fun to come to the ballpark in the summer in Wisconsin. Brewers are down 6-0, 2 3-run innings for the Nationals. Brewers a chance to sweep the series with a win today, but Washington is in control. Juan Soto leads the way. 6th inning. Peralta still pitching. He's actually pitched well except for 2 pitches. I mean, he's walked some batters, but he gave up a 2 RBI single to Daniel Murphy in the 1st, and then that 3-run home run by Bryce Harper in the 5th.
Yeah, the 4 walks have been the killer for Freddie. I mean, all 4 of them have scored.
He's only given up 3 hits.
Only base hit. You know, the base hit that he gave up to Murphy, not a bad pitch. It was in on him, but Murphy's such a good hitter, fought it off into center field. That hanging curveball to Bryce Harper, he'd like to have that one again.
There's a drive into center field. Soto sends Kane on the run. That one is going to fly out of here. And it is 7-0 Washington as Soto hits his 11th home run of the season. What a player this guy is. 19 years old. He's hitting over 300, has 11 homers now and 32 driven in.
He's got a little style to him, to his game. We've seen it all day, but throughout the series. Yeah, high fastball. Look at him. Spreads out that stance and back legs one out of here to center field. 19 years old. Can you imagine?
He is having a rookie of the year type season. Going to be a close race. He and Brian Anderson of the Marlins. Statcast is powered by AWS. That one travels 415 feet.
2 home runs coming in back-to-back innings, and before today, Peralta had only allowed 2 homers in his first 7 starts. 1 on a curveball, 1 on the fastball.
Looking like Peralta's worst start of the season. Coming back from an all-star break where he was actually pitching in the minor leagues to stay ready. One and 2 to Daniel Murphy. Leadoff homer by Soto. There's a strikeout. Pena's got to secure it, got to hustle. And there is out number 1. 7 strikeouts now. You go through a game and you have 7 strikeouts and only 3 hits. You're thinking that's a pretty good game. But 7 runs are on the board. And all 4 walks have scored. 4 walks and a hit batter. They've all come in. Turner off the end of the bat. Barehanded by Shaw. Turner's out. Nice play by Travis Shaw. 2 gone.
Travis only 2 outs. Travis heading into the dugout. Nice play by Shaw coming in. Turner got great speed, but not sure about bunting with a 7-0 lead. Of course, he's swinging away. I'm sorry. A swinging bunt. I was looking down on the scorecard when that happened, knowing that, seeing that, you know, 6 of the 7 runs have come with 2 outs.
The old WW. Yeah, all 3 runs in the first with 2 outs, and all 3 runs with 1 swing of the bat with 2 outs by Bryce Harper in the 5th. One thing about Peralta that we learned in Cincinnati when he got off to such a rough start in that game is he will compete. He does not lay down. His teammates were raving about that fact as Wieters goes to the opposite field. Base hit for Wieters with 2 away. There's a lot of young guys in the big leagues and they get beat around a little bit. You start looking over your shoulder at the bullpen hoping the manager takes the ball, but Peralta He has showed a lot in the games he hasn't had his best stuff, maybe more so than when he's been on his A game. When he's on his A game, he's about as tough as there is.
Yep.
Roark, first ball swinging. Thames back in the sun will make the catch, and the inning is over, but Washington adds one to it. Juan Soto with a home run. It's now 7-0 Washington.
To host the Rockies in a weekend series at Miller Park. That's Friday, August 3rd through Sunday the 5th. Check out the complete schedule, which features a 5-county Friday, a Bob Uecker talking bottle opener, and more. Go to Brewers.com for information. I still want to know what that talking bottle opener says.
We've had a few suggestions on the Twitter here recently,
some of which we can't repeat.
7-0 our score. No way out of that other than to just move on. Tanner Roark in our Badger Mutual Insurance, we'll call him pitches of the game because he's been on his game here today. He's got a shutout through 5, 6 strikeouts thus far, just 3 hits in the game.
Hey, he's been pretty good with all 4 of his pitches. He hasn't thrown too many changeups, but the slider, the curveball, fastball has been well located all day. Been getting a lot of mileage with the high fastball.
I guess we could go over and ask you what he said on that bottle opener.
Going to go over there?
Do a little investigative reporting, would you? Do something today, Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we can have Augie go over there. I know we're kind of hanging out in the press box. If Augie's listening.
It's a subtle little suggestion / dig all in once. Preparing for the Brewers live postgame show.
Oh, they watch. I'm not saying they're not watching. They're keeping an eye on things.
You know what they're watching? They're watching the soft serve dispenser in the media room. That's what they're watching. There's Craig. I'm assuming Augie is nearby. If you see Craig, Augie's usually pretty close.
You know where he is. He's in Uke's booth asking, and he's doing what we asked.
Or he's at the soft service. Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay.
That looks like the midriff of Jerry Augustine. There's Augie.
I guess he's not. They're not listening to our broadcast.
Only one way to find out. Start making fun of them.
What's the bottle opener say, Augie?
Uncomfortable moments on camera. They do have a monitor up there. It's very quiet in the press box. There's no cheering. Thames a strikeout. And Roark keeps it rolling here.
Well, Eric having a tough time of it since returning from the disabled list yesterday.
Roark has struck him out 3 times today. 7 Ks now for Tanner Roark, putting together one of his best starts of the season. Roark's season high for Ks is 9. Done that twice. Had a 9 strikeout game against the Mets early in the year in April. Had 9 Ks against the Phillies as well. That was in May. His best game of the year was a 7-inning 2-hit 2-run performance in New York against the Mets in April. Had a 7-inning 1-run game on the road against the Diamondbacks. Having his best games on the road this year. There's a walk. Finally, the Brewers with a base runner. It is a 1-out walk. Lorenzo Cain is on. That'll bring up Christian Yelich. Yelich with a hit today at the plate presented by Wendy's. Singled in the 4th. It's the only inning the Brewers had multiple runners on base that 4th inning. Only 3 hits today. Brewers start up a road trip tomorrow. 4 in San Francisco, 4 in Los Angeles. 8 games, 2 cities, 2 tough places to win. And both teams contending this season. Dodgers lead the division. And the Giants are in the picture for the wild card. Hasn't been a great year in San Francisco, but they're in there. Giants right now 4 back of the 2nd wild card spot.
It's always a tough road trip going out to the West Coast, but back-to-back 4-game series. It'll be interesting. It'll be a tough test for the crew.
Got to survive that one. Then the schedule turns in their favor a little bit with home games and off days.
Brewers have a bunch of off days in August.
Yeah, there's like a stretch of weeks. It's I think it's 5 out of 6 weeks where the Brewers have Thursday off. Yelich takes a ball.
Every Thursday in September is an off day.
I think that is huge. No one really talking about that right now, but boy, to buy those off days in September.
And the Brewers have 5 off days in August.
Yeah, that's right. So 6 out of 7 weeks they have Thursdays off. The final 7 weeks of the year. Yelich, a strikeout victim. Number 8 for Roark. Hottest team in baseball right now are the Pirates. They've won 11 straight. Playing the Indians currently. Pirates are 5 games over 500 now. They're 53-49. They're still 4.5 behind the Brewers in the standings. 6 back of the Cubs. They found something. That 5-game sweep of the Brewers before the All-Star break, and they have not let off the gas.
They had been scuffling a little bit before the Brewers got to town, but since that 5-game sweep, good things have happened for the Pirates, who are losing today.
Yeah, that just went final. I beg your pardon. Indians shut them out today. 4-0. So the 11-game winning streak is over. That was a day game in Cleveland today. Trevor Bauer got the win for the Indians. The all-star right-hander is 9-6. Had 10 strikeouts today. Bauer's got a 2.32 ERA. Brad Hand pitched today for Cleveland. It's a pitcher they just got from the Padres. He closed the game today. Aguilar lifts it into shallow right. And Murphy makes the over-the-shoulder catch to end the inning. Shutout still intact for Tanner Roark. It is 7-0 Washington. Mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's presented by T-Mobile. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin with you wherever you go. Keon Broxton will enter the game in center field. Going to give Lorenzo Cain the rest of the day off. Make it 7-0 Washington. Craig Counsell is not shy about waving the white flag in games like this, trying to get some people off their feet. And we'll see Jorge Lopez now,
Middle of
for the 10th time.
Yeah, middle of a long stretch where the Brewers don't have an off day. We're talking about all the off days they have in August. What is it, 17 straight games? Yeah, give them a few innings off. Get them ready for that Dodgers series. Hopefully, though, the Brewers can make a comeback here.
Jorge Lopez just recalled from AAA Colorado Springs. Been a starter down in the minor leagues and can give you a few innings as Eaton bounces out for the first out of the inning. We are approaching position player pitching territory. I'm not sure if Counsell wants to go there for a second time on this homestand, but
well, you can understand 11-2, but you know 7-0. Okay, you never know.
That's just my own thought.
Well, you know, Lopez can give you multiple innings. I mean, he can probably finish this one out pretty easily if need be.
And Lopez, part of that group of AAA starters that have come up and pitched in long relief roles here in the big leagues. Brandon Woodruff and Lopez, Corbin Burns, Aaron Wilkerson. A little jam shot out to short. Saladino for out number 2. There is good news on the injury front with Matt Albers. Sophia has more on that.
Yeah, it was a great rehab outing for him last night in AAA with the Sky Sox. It was 1 2/3 scoreless innings. He gave up just 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, 28 pitches in that outing. Craig Counsell said they wanted to see him cover multiple innings, so he did that, and he will rejoin the team in San Francisco to come off the disabled list. So he's been there since mid-June, so it'll be a nice addition to get back in the Brewers bullpen.
Yeah, and if he's right, he is a major weapon in the bullpen. The Brewers only get better in their pen. Albers starred for the Nationals last year. He was terrific. Harper on the first pitch. Aguilar's got it. He'll go to the bag to end the inning. And a quick inning for Jorge Lopez. Stretch time at Miller Park. It's 7-0 Washington.
Bob Uecker talking bottle opener. You know what? I forgot to go over there and ask him, you know, what it says.
Yeah, one job, Rock.
I know. When I'm back to get a bottle of water. Hey, that's given to all fans at the Cruise Series finale against the Rockies. That's on Sunday, August 5th. Courtesy of Palermo's Frozen Pizza. For tickets, go to Brewers.com. Do we have anybody that might be able to go over there and ask you?
We have one person. And he just finished reading a promo. Travis Shaw fouls it out of play. You don't just meander into Bob Uecker's booth, you know, and ask random questions. You got to have a little equity built up. He's a Ueck's innings off, so tread lightly, Rock. We'll wait. Go ahead. No balls and a strike.
Nah, I'm not going.
I've been trying to do this gig solo for 12 years now. Finally have a chance. Shaw bounces one foul.
All right, I'll go.
All right. Good luck. Don't waste your time over there. I wonder if Rock is going to come back now. I can't wait to see Uecker's face when Rock goes in there and says, "Hey, Ueck." There he is. Investigative reporting at its best as Shaw strikes out. First out of the 7th inning. Roark has 9 Ks. That ties a season high. He is having one of his best days of the season. Been an excellent pitcher for them through the years. Here he comes. And
excuse me.
What did he say?
Well, he said there's a number of different things it says. You know, it's like the talking 8-ball. But one of the things he said, he was, you know, most proud of this one. He says, "This might be a twist off, but use me anyway."
That's great. So it's a talking bottle opener.
Yeah.
And when you use it, it might be a twist off. So use me anyway. That's
There's
great.
other things that he said that it will say to you.
These are like authentic recordings that he's done.
Right.
These aren't just quotes that people have pulled and used on this bottle opener. That's why it's such an important giveaway.
And you tell me that wouldn't be, you know, popular at a party. Come on.
I'm in.
It's like having Ueck with you at your party.
Was Mr. Baseball a little taken aback that you walked in the middle of an inning? Or?
He was kind of wondering what I was doing, but I quickly said that we've been wondering for a while what your bottle opener says.
There he is.
I got up there pretty quickly, didn't I? And got back down.
Yeah, that was nice. Did you feel like you were untethered from the space shuttle, or when you're away from us that long?
It was kind of nice not being connected to a wire.
Next.
You know what they need to do next is they need to have you just randomly say stuff to these people. You know, just recording.
Fly ball on the
motion
right.
activated.
Saladino, and he makes a catch. I got a bit. You know that statue upstairs that we see all the time?
Mm-hmm.
If you just put enough makeup on Bob Uecker just to make him not look so real, you know how they do like in New York City with the Statue of Liberty and whatnot, just enough, and then put him up there, and then he grabs somebody who sits next to him.
Right.
I don't like. Uecker says he doesn't like when people puts their hand on his knee, but it's kind of there for you. That would be great. Could you go back over there and ask him if he would do that? Matter of fact, I got a list of things I'd like Bob Uecker to do. I need him to leave a voicemail for me. My message. We used to get Harry Callis to do that, the late Harry Callis. Not just the great voice of the Phillies, Hall of Fame voice, but also NFL films. If you caught him on a good day, he'd leave you a voicemail for you. You've reached Brian Anderson. That was great.
Yeah, classic, wasn't he?
Loved Harry.
What a great guy.
He was a great guy. His son Todd is the play-by-play announcer with the Astros now. Doing a great job down there. With Jeff Blum. Got a fun team to cover.
Yeah.
Todd, for many years, was the reporter for the Tampa Bay Rays.
We're missing some of the greats around the game, aren't we?
Yep. We're lucky to have Uecker still enjoying his job and coming to the ballpark to call games. One of the two statues recognizing Mr. Baseball, the Hall of Fame broadcaster. With Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock, weekdays 4 p.m. Central, and it's only on FS1. Speak for yourself, Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. 7-0 Washington. The Nats getting a terrific start out of Tanner Roark, who has a season high 10 strikeouts now and 7 shutout innings. He's only given up 3 hits. Jorge Lopez back to work, had a tidy 3 up 3 down 7th inning. And he's on for the 8th to face Matt Adams. Hit hard to center field. Broxton will make the catch. Nice play by Keon. Makes it look routine. Those are anything but those line drives right at you. Brewers have made some changes here as Perez enters the game in right field. Dames moves to first base. Sets Aguilar down. Dames hadn't had a lot of action at first base. That might be a harbinger of things to come. Aguilar has been struggling a little bit. Giants are going to have Madison Bumgarner pitch against the Brewers on Friday, so they have a right-hander tomorrow, Derek Rodriguez, and then Bumgarner Friday. Johnny Cueto goes Saturday, another lefty, Andrew Suarez Sunday. So the next 4 days against San Francisco goes right, left, right, left. And I'm sure that Brewers lineup will be adjusted accordingly for Craig Counsell.
Yeah, stacking up those lefties the Brewers have. They've seen a lot of lefties lately. 4 in a row in this homestand.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? Brewers hit the road on the West Coast. Wade Miley against Derek Rodriguez tomorrow. Chase Anderson and Bumgarner, and then Jolie Chacin, Junior Guerra round out the Brewers rotation. 8:30 is airtime tomorrow on our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Matt LePay will be on the call for the road trip. Matt and Rock and Sophia.
Where are you heading?
I will be in Atlanta for the Braves Dodgers on the Sunday MLB on TBS game. Slow roller. Lopez makes the play for the out. 2 gone.
Nice job is Jorge Lopez. 5 in a row now for him.
We had the farm director Tom Flanagan on earlier in the broadcast, and we were asking him about the run that the Brewers have had some of these players on between Milwaukee and Colorado Springs. On the first pitch, Murphy. And Broxton will run that one down. That's 2 excellent catches. Kind of gets washed up in the game, but Keon Broxton with a couple of dandies in center field. 6 in a row retired by Lopez.
Board, bottom of the 8th. We go. A lot of work for the Brewers to try to pull this one out. Remember, they were down 4-0 yesterday and came back, but that was early. They had some time. already going to the bottom of the 8th now. And Augie, this was a tough day for Freddie Peralta for sure.
Yeah, it sure was. When you look at his pitching stats, you looked at 4 walks and a hit batter all scored. But you got to give the Nationals credit. Came up with 6 of the 7 runs with 2 outs.
All right, the Brewers Live postgame presented by Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin. We'll hear from Craig Counsell as the Brewers embark now on a long road trip out west. 4 in San Fran, 4 in L.A. We'll set the pitching matchups for you and start that coverage coming up in just a bit. BA.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Augie. Looking forward to Brewers Live. They'll get you all ready for the road trip. Look at those pitching probables. A lot of games going final today. A lot of day games in the big leagues. Wilmer Defoe enters the game at second base. Daniel Murphy's day is over after a 2 RBI single in the first. Tanner Roark pitching in his 8th inning. 7 shutout with 10 strikeouts. Season high for him. We're keeping an eye on that Cubs Diamondbacks game. That one's in the 7th at Wrigley. Cubs lead 1-0. John Lester's on the mound. Diamondbacks are batting in the 7th. Arizona has a chance to win the first 3 in that series with a comeback today. That's a 4-gamer there at Wrigley. They have another one tomorrow afternoon. The contending Diamondbacks. Pena line shot right to Defoe. Out number 1.
Hey, that brings us to today's timer of the game winner. It's Mike's Logan Bar and Grill in La Crosse. Mike's Logan Bar and Grill in La Crosse. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And Miller Lite. Seems like it should be Mike Logan's.
That's not Fred's Logan. That's Mike's Logan.
Mike's Logan. That kind of threw me for a second.
Whose Logan is that? Oh, that's Mike's Logan. I think that's what he meant.
I bet it's beautiful in La Crosse today.
Every day's beautiful in La Crosse. Broxton in the air to right. Long run in for Eaton. And there is out number 2. I like hanging out at the river there, you know, the Mississippi River through La Crosse. That's a good spot.
You ever drive through there?
I've spent a lot of time in La Crosse at dance competitions with my daughter. There's a lot of downtime in the dance competition.
Yeah. Used to go up there when my son was young and playing hockey up there.
Eric Thames swing and a miss. You've been everywhere.
Yeah, one of the routes from Milwaukee to Minneapolis through La Crosse.
That's it. If you want some scenery.
Yeah.
Tough day for Thames. He's down 0-2. Roark has struck him out 3 times, and Thames is going to watch this one go by. One to forget today. Roark keeps it rolling. That's 11 Ks now for Roark. 8 shutout innings.
to Wrigley Field. Series between the Diamondbacks and the Cubs in the 4th inning. It was Ben Zobrist with an RBI single to give the Cubs an early 1-0 lead, but moments ago in the 7th inning, A.J. Pollock homered to left center off of John Lester to tie the game at 1. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Cubs and Diamondbacks wrapping up.
All right, thanks, Sophia. That's where it sits right now. The Brewers are a game and a half back of the Cubs, 3 back in the loss column. Brewers have played 3 more games than Chicago. That'll start to level out with all the Brewers off days that they will enjoy in August and September. Jorge Lopez trying to pitch the last 3 innings, and these would be big innings to pitch and to cover for the Brewers. He's retired 6 in a row, and a broken bat ground ball to Travis Shaw for out number 1.
It's almost like a save for a guy like Lopez in a situation like this, meaning saving the bullpen for that long road trip out to the West Coast. Brewers used 5 relievers last night.
One of the challenges for these young pitchers coming up in this, I guess you wouldn't officially call it a taxi squad, but that's basically what it is. This group of AAA pitchers that come up, provide support for games like this, whether you're up big or down big, pitch multiple innings. But usually when you pitch multiple innings, you're headed right back out, and then you go back into the rotation like Brandon Woodruff. So Woodruff went multiple innings, goes to AAA, gets into the rotation, keep him stretched out as a starter in case they need him, and then you could see a player move. Not saying they will do that for sure, but Lopez is going to be down for a few days now as Wieters flies out, and that's 8 in a row retired by Jorge. Granted, the intensity of the at-bats aren't quite what they were at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if you struggle, you start walking guys and putting men on base. And Craig Counsell has to go to another reliever. All things that go into the memory bank for the organization, and you know, if you continue to pitch like this for Lopez, you know he's going to get another opportunity. He has been with the Brewers 6 different times this year.
Mark Reynolds pinch hits for Washington. That's the end of the day for Tanner Roark. It's his best day of the year on the mound. 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts. Season high for innings and strikeouts this year. And it's 0-2 on Reynolds.
And continues to give the Brewers problems. You know, if he goes on to win today, he's going to be 4-1. Earned run average is going to go down. Started out at 2.7.
And Lopez strikes him out. Good stuff by Jorge Lopez. 9 up, 9 down. Pitches the last 3 innings in a 7-0 game. Well, so far, a day to forget for the Brew Crew. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers to start the homestand. They're going to probably go 500 barring a major comeback here. It's never over. You see yesterday the Oakland A's were down 10-2 to the Rangers in the 6th inning. They came back and won that game. Sammy Solis will have the last inning for the Nationals. Eric Kratz pinch hits, and Kratz on the first pitch drives one to center. Bryce Harper looks at it. It's off the base of the wall. And Eric Kratz into second base with a double.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, good at bat for Kratz. One at bat, gets a base hit, extra base hit right down the middle. And Kratz able to hit it hard over the head of Harper.
A leadoff double. Brewers put a leadoff man on for the first time in this game.
There's nothing else. Get the goose egg off the run score, the totals. Get a run on the board. Never want to get shut out.
Sammy Solis, one of 2 lefties in Dave Martinez's bullpen. Here's Christian Yelich. Hope you had a chance to catch the Brewers Live pregame show today. There is a connection with this Washington pitcher and the Brewers, specifically Davey Nelson. And Craig Kashan had an excellent interview with the young Solis. I think Craig's wired up for us right now. I'd love to hear that story again, Craig, if you can share. But the fact that Solis' father was well connected with the orphanage in South Africa, and then you had a chance to visit with the son today. That was a great interview.
Yeah, he did a great job with us, and you know, Sammy's a great guy. His dad Bob started Open Arms Orphanage in South Africa, and of course Davey's legacy will live with that orphanage. And you know, the great thing about it is, through all these years and his connections with Bob Solis, I think Sammy's really the only person that has kind of come up through the ranks, if you will, from a little boy on up through here. Now he's made it to the majors, and I know that Davey helped Sammy with you know, some tips along the way and how to prepare himself. But there are some great memories here from Davey, from the orphanage, from his golf tournament. And I think the great point that Sammy made today during our interview is this orphanage largely exists because of Davey's efforts through the golf tournament, through all kinds of other fundraising that he has an art and a gift for helping out and reaching out to people, and everyone's been so kind over the years. And this one, of course, was really special because Mark Antanasio matched the money raised at the golf tournament. And to have a match like that, it was off the charts. So that all that money is so important, and this orphanage continues to grow because of how Davey has helped over the years. And Sammy and Davey were out there a few years ago together and spent almost 2 weeks out there. And Sammy described Davey as not just a godfather out there, but a grandfather and an uncle. All the kids loved him, as you can all imagine.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Way to humanize that part of it as Hernan Perez sends one deep to left field. This one's going to go. A 3-run home run for Perez. And the Brewers are on the board. It is 7-3.
You never know. There's still nobody out. Stranger things have happened. So 2 guys that did not start the game playing a big part in this 9th inning. Kratz and Perez.
Leadoff double by Kratz. Yelich singles, and then Perez 3-run blast.
Like a change up. He knocks it out of here. Second deck out in left field. Pretty swing for Hernan.
7th home run of the year. 25 RBIs now. Well, that's a bat the Brewers would love to get going here. Now Shaw hits it hard to center, and Harper is there to make the catch for the first out. Nice play by Bryce Harper.
Well, it looked like it had a little knuckling effect on it.
That'll bring up Tyler Saladino. Yeah, appreciate Craig following up with Sammy Solis. Good to hear. You don't hear from a lot of the opposing players, especially about off the field activities, but that's a special one. And Sammy will be one of the players that will try to keep the orphanage going and try to continue to recruit players to support that and visit that facility now that Davey has passed. And we're always thinking about Davey Nelson, that corner down there. The Brewers Live will be coming to you from, called Nelly's Corner.
If you're ever down there, Lowe's level, check out that plaque that they have down there. Nice stuff. It's amazing how many people Davey Nelson has touched.
Yeah.
You know, throughout his life. And you know, that connection with Solis's father had nothing to do originally with baseball. And a lot of Davey's relationships started that way, just going up talking to somebody.
Sammy was actually getting a little emotional during the interview, talking about Davey and that orphanage in South Africa and the connection to his father. 2-2 the count to Saladino, and a strikeout for the second out of the inning. Brewers down to their last out here today. The Diamondbacks were able to tie it up against the Cubs. They scored in the top of the 7th, so it's 1-1 now. Arizona at Wrigley. Indians shut out the Pirates today 4-0. Reds beat the Cardinals today 7-3. The Nationals are chasing the Phillies and the Braves. Phillies won over the Dodgers today after their marathon game last night. Phillies win the last 2. Arrieta got the win today for Philadelphia. Braves are off today. There's a called strike. 1-2 now on Miller. Brewers down to their last strike. Up the middle, slow roller, Turner bobbles, can't find a handle. Miller is aboard. The Brewers aren't dead yet. That'll be an infield hit for Brad Miller.
Yeah, just put the bat on the baseball, give yourself a chance. That's what Miller does here. Once it takes its second hop right there, it's going to be a tough play. Not sure how he's going to score it. Base hit.
And Dave Martinez is going to make a pitching change here. Taking no chances with the Brewers down 4. He will play matchup and bring on a right-hander.
And last thing he wanted to do with a 7-0 lead, have to use 2 pitchers to get through the end of the game.
Pitching change with 2 outs in the 9th. Brewers down 4. Let's see if they can keep it going. counters to get the tying run to the plate. Taking no chances, Dave Martinez is going to bring on Kelvin Herrera. He's their closer right now, with Sean Doolittle on the disabled list.
Yeah, saw him in yesterday's ball game. Scoreless inning, had a strikeout. You see his numbers: 185 earned run average. Came over from the Kansas City Royals.
Was great with the Royals. Has not been as dominant with the Nationals. But he will try to get the final out of this game for the Nats. Manny Pena at the plate. Miller takes off. They don't hold him. And a base hit could bring in another run. A 3-run homer by Hernan Perez has ended the shutout for Milwaukee. The Nationals are headed to Miami. They'll get back in their division with a 4-game series starting tomorrow. Brewers off to San Francisco. Brewers will be back at Miller Park next Friday. We got a series with the Rockies starting on August 3rd. Next homestand for the Brewers will be 6 games over 7 days. The Rockies and the Padres. One and two the count. Brewers again down to their last strike. 2-2. Freddie Peralta started for Milwaukee, went 6 innings, gave up 7 earned runs. It's been his worst start of his season. Jorge Lopez was excellent, retiring 9 in a row in the last 3 innings. Pena, a little jam shot to third, and that'll do it. And the Nats win the finale. Brewers take 2 out of 3 from Washington after they finish the first half with a 6-game losing streak. First homestand after the All-Star break, they go 500. They go 3-3 against the Dodgers and the Nationals. 7-3 the final here today. Roark gets the win, Peralta the loss. Bryce Harper with a 3-run homer. Time for Brewers Live. Let's send it out to Nelly's Corner. Check in with Craig Cashon. Take it away, Craig.
All right, BA, thanks very much. And Bryce Harper, the Nationals, used the bats today against Freddie Peralta. We'll talk about that. And the Brewers heading out west. We'll also hear from Craig Counsell. Brewers Live postgame on the way. Stay with us.